Hello, everyone. Welcome to BizChicks TV. This is the place where you can find tips and tools to help you do business better. We're here to help you run a profitable business that's fun to run and to take the hassle out of your hustle. And today we are here with Coach Caren Fern, all the way from Toronto, Canada. Canada. I got my TV on, so when it came on, it started talking to me.
Of
I
course.
apologize, everyone, but I do want you to know that we are talking to Coach all the way from Toronto, Canada, and she always has such wonderful things to share with us concerning business and our money mindset. Because you got to have your head together when you're in the game,
Girl.
and that's what this is all about: getting your head together and getting in the game. So, Coach, what do you have for us today?
Oh man, this morning today we talk about planned spending because I'm gonna bring you a planned spending. We're gonna talk about that this morning.
Okay. It's not Tech Life Weekly.
Mm-mm.
It's planned spending.
Spending. Yep.
All right. So let's dive in.
Okay. Because last week we talked about insecurities about money. And
Mhm.
one of the other reason that we feel insecure about money because we didn't plan to spend it. So once we spend it and we didn't plan it out, we start panicking and we
Ah,
go into the regret and all that sort of thing. And it didn't matter how much money you have. This is the kicker. If somebody's got a lot of money and they're indecisive, they will still have this behavior. If you don't have money, it feels like that's the reason you're behaving this way. But this is an emotional thing. This is why I talk a lot about emotion behind the money, because it really is our emotion that just goes and take over and do all this stuff to us when it comes to money. So,
mm,
a couple of things we're going to talk about. Do you trust
yes,
spend
I
without person
trust.
who just spend without planning? Period. And we're
I
going to talk
trust.
about
I trust. You froze there for a minute. All righty.
money rule, whether they are behave, whether they understand it, know it or not. They have rules around money for themselves. They might never speak it out loud. They might not write it anywhere, but in their head, there's some rules in their head about money.
Mm,
And how does it feel when you plan to spend money if you have done so? The difference. So, plan money spending goes simply like this. I'm planning to buy a car. I'm going to
okay.
go investigate how much the car is going to cost me. What's my monthly payment? What's my insurance payment? And it's very simple. You go, you see cars you like. You call your insurance agent, and if you don't have one, find one and give them the spiel of the car and let them know what insurance will be. Now,
Yes.
you say to them, I just want to plan around it. You don't have to feel obligated to go take the plan right away. I want to plan around it. So now you have an idea. In that idea, you might want to kick in a 10% if it's not an immediate purchase. That way, if things go up, you add a 10 to 15% or 10 to 20%, depending on where you are and what you know about your life, right? Education. If you plan your education, same goes. You plan to take a couple of courses this year or next year or when, you put it down. This is the course, this is the price. You add a 10 to 20% increase. Life happens, that's going to happen. And so now when you go to buy the course, you're not grumbling. Coaching, you're not grumbling because you plan for it. I had somebody told me I plan a whole year, coach, to come coach with you. So lady plan the money. She's been listening to me and plan the money to be able to do such things. Okay.
Hmm.
Plan to buy a house. You got to save for the down payment. You know,
Yes.
if you're smart, you're planning your grocery. That don't mean you can't pick up a few other things, but you make a grocery list. This is not uncommon, folks, but it feels that way because it's my money. I can spend it how I like. Sure, you can. But later on, you'll be living in regret. And I want you to get out of that. Regret makes you angry, frustrated, annoyed with yourself, even if
Hmm.
it comes out on everybody else. It's really you annoyed with you because of how you behave. You didn't plan it.
It's so true, and it makes you grumpy and
Yes.
irritable
Yeah.
and hard to deal with
Yes.
when you do not have a grip on your finances,
Mm-hmm. Yes.
because all kinds of feelings come up. You start to feel insecure, you start to feel unworthy, Shame.
Yes, yes.
Shame
That's
is
a
a
big
big
one.
one.
That's a
Yeah,
big one.
shame is a
That's a big
big
one.
one. Especially when you're responsible for other people, when
Yes,
you're parenting, or when you're
yes.
in a marriage or in a relationship, where you are commingling finances, and you don't have your portion. That could be a problem.
Big time. They're big time.
And now you're avoiding the person,
Yes.
and you live with them. How you gonna?
Facts upon facts upon facts.
Wow. Whew.
Yep.
And you know something, this is such a biblical principle. He says, "One man buys a field before builds a house before considering the cost." Right?
And I mean the true cost. The true
Mm-hmm.
cost, because lots of us learn as we go. So no taking prisoners here, guys. I understand this. We learn and we build as we grow. Unless we had examples, mentors, coaches, or people along the way. And it's not because
Mm-hmm.
you can't get it now, but a lot of us didn't have it. We just had to figure out as we go along. Some people figure it out. Some people still figuring it out, no matter how much times they have to figure it out, because they're in this denial state. And that's the first state. If you don't want to plan money, you're in this denial state that you got more coming in than you truly have. That's the first
Mm.
denial state. You won't tell anybody, but in your head, you have more. And that more is because you're wanting more, and nothing is wrong with that. But if you're not there yet, you just can't do it. You plan to get there. If you're not in a job that's making the kind of money that will allow you to do the things you want to do, you plan on getting there. Don't go spending too much before you get there, because you come back journeying and not always feel like you're catching up.
Yes, because you are.
You are.
Because you spent it before you got it.
Yeah.
And
So,
that's the same way with any credit card, too.
right? So we're not paying attention to it. And guys, again, this has happened to me and other people. This happened to us. Like, we do these things. So that's why we can speak on them, right? We
Yes.
understand this has happened. This is no blame game. This is just helping you to see it before. And if it has happened already, hold back.
Mm-hmm.
If you feel you're going in those waters again, because you understand, hey, I've been there. I don't want to feel that burn again. I don't want to feel that out of placement again. I don't want to
Mm-hmm.
feel like as though I shouldn't have had it, because I'm going to look good and show up to somebody else. Stop. This is for your own health. That's going to lead to your wealth.
There you go.
That's going to do that. That's going to do that, right? So get in there, guys. Plan it out. Sit down. Sit down and plan out on Monday. Sit down and understand that maybe all you can afford to give yourself at the moment is $25 a week, $25 a month, whatever that number is. That's all you can afford to give yourself. I want you
Mm-hmm.
to understand there's a difference, and I talked about it last month, between being poor and broke. It's two different things. Broke is way more temporary than poor.
Mm-hmm.
Broke is way more temporary than being poor. Poor is a mind, body, and soul thing that you have grown into, and all you've seen and all you've known is poorness. And so, just like it took a while for you to seep in and to be able to say to yourself that I'm poor, it takes a long, sometimes double the time, to get out of the state. You might be doing everything right, but the feeling and the being is still poor.
Well, isn't this interesting? Because the book I read said, "Let the poor say they are rich," because your mind will follow your words.
Exactly. It is
And
true, Terry. You and I know this, but we have to keep reminding others. We have to keep letting them know that it doesn't have to be so. We have to keep reminding them that it
mhm.
doesn't have to be so. That's why I'm repeating myself, guys. It is not so. But I know what your being is doing. And remember, when we talk about this happening or the devil do this, we is giving him ammunition. He has no ammunition until we give it to them. So if we keep speaking it, we're giving him ammunition, and he's turning the bullets right back at us. Stop it.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah.
It's okay to
It's,
have.
it's
As
a
Terry always say, it's okay to make money a business. It's okay to have. Okay.
yes, it's
All right.
okay to be what he says we should be, which is
Yes.
wealthy and living in abundance.
Abundance. Yeah. Yeah. And he makes room for it, guys. He just makes room for it. And I always say to tell everybody, prayers are answered all the time. Sometimes we take a while to catch up on the answered prayer.
Mm-hmm.
It
Mm-hmm.
is answered, but we are running behind instead of being attached to the answer that was given.
Uh,
I got up, side note, I got up this morning around 3:30. I could not sleep because this flow of information was wouldn't leave me. Terry, I wrote about 9 to 12 pages by hand. I couldn't stop writing. Like it was just there. Now, my part of me was saying, Karen, just lie down and sleep in the morning is going to be there. Let me tell you, those 12 pages won't be there in the morning. Some
mm-hmm.
of it will be, but that fluidness, that clarity, that this is what I want to see you deal in. You need to go grab it right away. You need to grab your downloads. Your money is in those downloads. Your money is in those downloads. That's in you that you're supposed to do, that feel frightening,
Oh
that
my.
feels like you shouldn't touch, that you must touch because of what it's going to do for you and all the people that you are going to touch. All right.
Wow. That's good. It's true. It's all inside of us. And the seed is in there. We just
Yes.
have to, yeah, water the seed and also pay attention when it's harvest time.
Uh, uh,
So evidently harvest time is at 3 in the morning for you this time. And
girl.
it will vary.
Yeah. Yes.
Hmm.
That's the thing. It
Hmm.
happens anytime. Okay. I used to tell people two to three in the day. This is since I was in Guyana. I would feel this peace like come over me, and I would just feel this calming. And in those days was a lot of rest that was needed. And I would just relax and just enjoy. And people ask me, like, what are you doing? Nothing. But I know what I'm feeling and enjoying. Just that,
Hmm.
potion. So be aware. Be aware. That's what I'm saying, guys. Be aware, okay? And number two is, what are the rules you live by when it comes to money? Like, what is your money rule? What do you live by?
Mm. Oh, can you
Oh,
hear my?
he's here. He's here. He's visiting us. What is the rule you live by? You get it, you spend it. You get it, you save it, you invest it. What is the rules you're living by? It's not enough. Is that a rule for you? Did you set that rule in place and now you feel you must live by that rule? Whatever that rule is, that's the rule you're living by, whether you understand it or not. You know, whether you understand it or not, those are the rules you're living by. I, no people with money, no people without money. And my dad was a wealthy man. And I would watch him, like we would go look at things that he's going to buy, and he wouldn't get them because he planned when it's going to happen. He planned what's going to happen. So we'll go, we'll look, we'll investigate. And I would say to him, I was new to the country, and I said to him, so why won't you just buy it? He goes, Karen, it's not the time. The time, it's your shirt. You make a good salary. What is the problem? But it wasn't the time. When it's the time, we go back and we got the shirts. And lots of time we get them back on sale. Lots of time. When I first started being a hairdresser, I didn't first start. I was 5 years into it, and I had this client, this disabled client, and I would go see her because she couldn't come or go, and I'd go see her and get her hair done, and through conversation, and she telling me how she don't have any money, she barely can get by, month is finished, she's on a fixed income, and she didn't know what she was going to do and how she's going to be able to make it. We started talking about planning out what she has and not wishing she had more, because at the moment she had no way of making more. The disease that she had, she's a young woman, it was now known, it was a rare, it wasn't something that she would figure out what to do eventually. Doctors were figuring out how she's going to manage. This woman started in her late 30s, so I met her in her 40s. She's still a young woman figuring out what's her capability is going to be, like what part of her is going to work well. So we're not even talking about going and finding a business, because she's figuring this stuff out with a lot of medication. And I sat her, I said, I'm going to come of no charge. I'm going to come. This is what I do. I'm going to come and sit with you a day when it's good for you, and we're going to talk. And my time is limited, and I've now started thinking about becoming a coach. I said, we're going to sit with you and we're going to see what this money can do. And we plan that money out to a T. In the planning session, here's a couple things that happened. She was able to save $50 a month, something she don't think she could ever do. In the planning system, she was able to buy groceries that she needed and not run out of groceries because we planned how the money was going to spend. The third thing in the planning sessions that she learned is that once she pay attention to sales in the grocery store, she can go accordingly. And I had her go to the grocery store with a notebook. This is for you guys. If you've never done this, get with a notebook to the grocery store and watch the time that sales wrap around. And I knew a few, so I told her toilet paper go on sale every 3 weeks. The certain things that she loved and need, we made a list of she must have, what she need, and what she loves. And those are the things, the main core that she focused on for the sale. And then the other things drop into place. She lived here, but she loved to travel, and she wondered how she would be able to travel. The brother used to help her pay for her airfare. The first year she was able to buy her own ticket, she was ecstatic.
That's a beautiful thing, to get where you can afford to take care of yourself. Yeah.
Yeah, she appreciated him, but she
Mhm.
wanted to be able to do this herself.
Mhm.
She wanted to be able to do things for herself. She says, Caren, since I've been putting the $50 in the bank account, I just want you to know. One day she just called me up. She says, I need to see you. She said, I'm putting $75 now. I figured out how to add $25 more to you. And she says, I have a few friends, and I hope you don't mind, but I got 3 people saving money now that never
Mhm.
saved in their lives before.
All right.
She spread the good word. Guys, don't be afraid to spread the good word.
It's a beautiful thing.
It's a
Oh my
beautiful
goodness.
thing. It's a beautiful thing.
And that's what we're here for, to help people.
Yeah, she's not my client anymore, but we still talk. We're still friends. We still talk to each other. She see my mom. She want to know what's going on. Here and
Yes.
there. We don't talk so much, but it has. She got happier and lighter, and she started seeing the money that she was made that was coming in as a disabled person. Didn't mean that she couldn't have certain things. All the things she was denying herself, it wasn't true, but she believed them to be true, so they keep becoming what she believed they were true.
Yes.
I don't have enough.
And what she kept speaking out.
Yes, I don't have enough.
We just really have to keep a guard over this, because this will activate this and that will activate everything.
My kids used to like to say to me, especially my daughter, she's like, Mom, I know you weren't rich. When I go to school, I thought you were very rich.
Yep. Yep. Never knew we were, in that situation. I never knew it. You know, Although every once in a while my mother would say things like money doesn't grow on trees.
Yeah, I'll say, well, I didn't just pick it up or something like that, because I'd
Mhm.
start learning not to say that. But, I was in college, things were rolling, they were seeing things coming in, the groceries there, this is there, I said yes, because it's coming, because we're working towards betterment. So why wallow in what was present? Because we're working towards the betterment. Mommy's going to get a better job, mommy's going to do other things, and this is so temporary that why dwelling it?
Exactly. God is good.
So
Wow.
good all the time.
So the rules that we live by, what are some of those rules now? Like the rule
We,
of saving? Is that
yeah,
one of the
and,
rules?
and 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 spending as soon as we get it. We spend as soon as we get it. This is something that people say a lot, Terry. I don't see my money. It comes in the bank and it goes right back out. It just
Mhm.
pays bills. That's
Mhm.
a rule they're living by. The money comes in and it goes back out. That's their money rule, but they don't know that that's the rule they've been living by. I'm making just enough to pay the bills. They developed that rule. I'm going to make enough money to pay the bills. And I promise you, Terry, if they got a better paying job, they're going to do the same thing. They're going to have just enough money to pay the rules, to pay the bills, because that's the rule they've set out for themselves, which means they're either going to stay where they are and get consumer debt, or they're going to move to a place that is going to put them back in that same pocket. When that's the rule you live for yourself. Case in point, excuse me, when I come out of college and I had my first, you guys would call it corporate job, and a friend and I and a bunch of us, all of us was freshly out of college people, and the salary was ridiculous because we never had the kind of money. Regular people were like, but for us it was like ridiculous. Mm-hmm. We wanted to do all that we can do. We spend stupidly. I had my little share, and then I calmed myself down. It took a month or two, and I went crazy. I did. Let me just admit right here, guys. Paying what? I'm just went crazy, okay? Mm-hmm. And on the third month, me and was mostly men work there, and we had a lot of conversations. Most of them would owe the coffee truck $50, $60, $200 and something a week. And I would ask them, why are you buying that kind of coffee? Mm-hmm. And over time with discussions, it's not like they can't buy from the coffee truck, but why are you buying to that extent? The coffee truck, I went to buy a Kit Kat. I love Kit Kat, guys. And the Kit Kat was selling at a coffee truck for $3. At that time, Kit Kat was 2 for $1. And he was selling it for $3 because he found suckers, Terry. We didn't have any rule for our money. So he found his rule and he was sucking us dry. If a coffee was $1, it was $2.50 at him. Uh-huh. Everything was double or tripled.
Mm-hmm. For the convenience of the truck. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So rather than walk 10 feet across the street and get it for $1,
we pop out and we pop in, and we treat each other.
Yeah.
I buy 10 rounds of coffee this morning, a whole box of donuts, and I share it out. We were young 20-somethings just going crazy with our monies. Mm-hmm. That's what we did. And then the money, I have a lot of rules around money, and I didn't even know I had them. But I sat my friend down. We went to college together. We got a job together. And I said, what is your plans? And she says, girl, I really want to buy a house. I said, so do I. And we nip it in the butt. Mm-hmm. And all that changed. And yes, other people came along. And there's some people who never did, but there's a lot of people came along on our journey because they saw what can happen when you plan your spending, when you plan what you're going to do, when you plan what's going to happen with your money. People have good jobs and they say, but I'm still broke. That's because they haven't planned what they're going to do with their money. They have a lot of insecurities about money. They came into wanting money, feeling all type of way that they haven't dealt with, good or bad. They've seen some things. They don't want to be in that position, but that's the position they usually end up in because they don't understand what's happening to them so that they should not be in that position. You know, it's like a person who never had a TV and buys 6 TVs one time. So now all they're doing is watching the TV so they can't get to the other things what they're supposed to be doing because they're busy watching the TV. And so those things drop to the wayside. They're satisfying this one tiny need that really didn't need all that attention. One TV would have sufficed. So they can see how the things line up. You see somebody with 10 cars, you don't know their position, don't go get 10 cars. Got your one car and figure out what you need with your one car because you can't drive all 10 at once. Even if you had 10 drivers, you can't set your body up.
I agree. But, you know, if your thing is collecting cars or turning cars over or whatever it is, if that's the desire of your heart, you can have those things. Just make sure that other things don't go to pot while you're doing that.
Exactly. That's all my point is. Work your way there.
You have abundance. We want you to have abundance.
Yes.
It's just that if you're not there yet, you need to have some spending rules.
Mm-hmm. Get that in place. Because the last question was, how does it feel when you plan spending money? When you plan it, that frustration is not there. You set limits. And this is not to stop yourself. This is just to limit yourself. You set limits. I tell you, millionaires, those people, I don't care where you see their spending. Most of the stuff, when you get to a certain point, you don't even spend on anymore. You don't even spend on anymore. Okay? But while you're in this place that you're desiring and wanting to get to, if you truly want to get there, there's some things that happen before you get there. Don't get there and then, if somebody was buying a business and they had the world of money and you're selling the business for 1.3 million, a half a million, a quarter
Mhm.
million, whatever, they're still going to ask you, is that the best price? They're still going to come in with their offer. They're still going to try to pay less. And it's
Mm.
not because they had money, because they had a rule. I want to buy this laundromat for X amount of dollars.
Mhm.
This is the amount of money I plan. Maybe I want a laundromat for $250,000, but I'm not going to give it to you because I need another 100,000 to bring it up to par. I need to replace the machine, so I only want to pay you 150,000, so I can have the other 100,000 to do the repairs.
Mhm.
Because I got money, I'm not coming in just to pay you $250,000 because I have some sense. You understand? I have my
Yes.
rule around what I'm going to spend and what I'm going to do. And I'm willing to walk away because I'm confident another laundromat is going to be for sale. And I'm going to buy that one. I'm confident that if I didn't get this one, the world wouldn't end. And I move on. When you don't have planned money, you're thinking everything is going to fall to crap. So you got to do it now.
Mm.
You're moved by anger, frustration. You're moved by guilty pleasures. You're moved by, the simplest thing just gets you upset. And you don't move strategically anymore. If you ever did, you just can't. You got to get yourself in this place where, if this deal falls through,
Uh-huh.
I can refer back to my real estate coach. If this deal falls through, no, there's five more behind it. And if anybody tell you
Mhm.
might get another deal, that's because that's where their closed mindset is. But 10 more deals are coming behind. This one is not where your planned money should be spent. And I'm gonna leave you guys with this. I went to look at a townhouse and I desperately wanted to buy it. It was sorry,
Mhm.
it was a semi-detached house, just two, this specific area. I don't know how they get that development because it's not much of that around, but they just build these two townhouses together attached. So everywhere was two townhouses attached. It wasn't in a row.
We call them duplexes. Mhm.
Hmm. And so, no, 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 no. It was owned by non-duplex. I know what a duplex is. This here,
Okay.
this was this special area. We got an area here
Oh,
that had them, and
oh,
it was this builder that built them that way. So it's,
okay.
I mean, individual people own them. Like, it's not owned by one owner. Like, individual people own them. And I wanted
Mhm.
to buy one of them so much so because I wanted to rent it, because it's had the possibilities. I can have the basement rented out, the top rented out. I
Mhm.
could room. I was so excited to get it. And my coach keeps saying, Karen, run the numbers. I don't care what you're feeling. Run the numbers.
Numbers. Okay. Okay.
Run the numbers. And I was terribly disappointed once I ran the numbers and he checked my numbers. It was not a profitable place to buy. But if you see it and you just look at the mortgage and how much it costs, Terry, it makes sense. For long term, it makes sense. His question was, how long could you lose money? How long
Mm.
are you willing to lose money? I didn't have an answer for it because I couldn't lose money. I couldn't lose money. I needed to make money. What is this? What is this? He's like, yes, this is not a lose. This is not a gain. This is for somebody who is more experienced to hold on to something like this, or a prime resident. It wasn't for investment purpose. We couldn't get the
Mm.
price down. We couldn't get the guy to budge. He knew he was an investor himself, so he understood the game. When it happened, he was selling because it was not a profitable house to hold on to. I mean,
Okay.
if you in real estate and you wait long enough, of course, house price is going to raise and it's going to make sense, to sell what have you. But if you're buying to hold, as I wanted to, it just didn't make sense at the moment. And he said,
Mm.
more will come. If you believe that more houses will come for you to see, it will come. If you think this is your only house, this is your only house that you'll ever buy. And you will lose money.
Wow.
That statement just changed everything because I wasn't willing to lose my money.
I think a lot of times we don't look to see how long it's going to take to
Mhm.
have a return on investment.
Yes. Yeah. 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 And some investments cost you before it gives you money. Gambling is one of them.
Wow. Okay. That's
That's a big
valid.
one, guys. That's a
That's
real big one. So today we talk
Mhm.
about planned spending, plan it and spend it. It takes away frustration. It stop making you feel this bad. Make you feel like you don't know what you're doing. You do. You just get excited. You just want to do.
Mhm.
But sit down and take the time. As Terry like to say, get in a corner and just sit down.
Get somewhere and sit down. I'm telling you, my grandmother was just a really ingenious person. She only went to the fourth grade, but she had some real horse sense, as she says. You know, some things you just need to sit down and think about,
Mm,
and then think about what you're thinking about. She was a great businesswoman. Ran
right?
she ran a boarding house. She ran a laundry business. She and my grandfather did had a catering service. It was just, she was always turning
Hmm.
over money.
Turn it. Yeah. Yeah.
So, Coach, I am just so excited about this topic because I don't think we get anywhere. Sit down and think about how we are actually really spending our money. We're so afraid of the B word, budget.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
And so I like to call mine a happiness plan.
Yes.
Okay, so what's my happiness plan for this month?
Yes.
Spend money on this, and this. I'm going
Yeah.
to do this for me.
Yes.
Put some fun in there. You
Yes.
know what I'm
Yes.
saying?
Yes.
So you don't
Yes.
feel like you're in, money jail.
Yeah. There's no need for that. There's really no need for that. When I
Mm-mm-mm.
meet young people who say to me, I'm working at a coffee shop because I'm trying to figure out what I want to do," I say, "Good for you." I give them high five. I give them kudos because they're taking the time. They're not running into a job who's going to get a lot of money and they might not want to be there.
Uh-huh.
It really keeps them grounded. Those people really, I find it keeps them grounded and it allows them to plan out their money. By the time they get a good paying job, they have figured it out.
Hmm.
They talk to a few people.
And at a coffee shop, you will talk to a few people.
A few people. You can learn a lot by working in a coffee shop. Let me
Mm-hmm.
tell you, a coffee shop, if you don't know what to do yourself, go find a coffee shop and get a job. If you're in business right now, go get a part-time coffee shop job if you're not sure what to do. You learn a lot of things.
It's a winner. That's a winner. Wow. I just want to say, guys, if you're looking to connect with a coach, try Coach Caren Fern. She has so much expertise in so many areas. And we just want you to know that you can find her on Instagram, you can find her on Facebook, and she has a number of coaching programs with different price points, and we highly recommend her. So here's her Calendly, and I'm going to put a copy in the chat. So if you're looking to connect with her or book an appointment, I have to copy and paste that. You can see it right there in the chat, as well as I'm going to put it back up on the screen so that if you want to take a screenshot, you can do that too. Coach, we just really appreciate all that you do. And we value your experience.
Thank you. And thank you for allowing me to present week after week. I enjoy it tremendously.
It is our good pleasure to have you, and we want to thank you again for all that you do. And all of you who are watching live on the replay, we just want to thank you for your time and
Yes.
remind you it's okay to make money in your business.
Yes.
It's okay to make money in your business. If you need help with your social media, be sure to connect with us here at BizChicks. You can contact us over here on bizchicks.net. And we would love for you to become a part of BizChicks simply by texting biz to 33777. And we'll see you in the community. Have a great day. Bye bye, everyone.